Hi, my name is Bob Sadler. I work with the DICKEY-john Analytical Products. Today we're going to look at sample preparation and regression process for the IL700. These are tools you receive in the IL700 accessory kit. You receive 2 sample cups that are used in insertion of the product into the InstaLab. You receive an acid brush. You receive a paintbrush that's used in brushing away excess particles from the sample cup. You receive a spatula. You receive a scopula used to insert product into the sample cup. And you receive a sample cup holder. We've chose the product of corn to process through the blender. We've got some cleanup items here, isopropyl alcohol, which we'll use to clean the sample cups after we perform the analysis, to clean the oil off of and the residue off of the lens. We have a grinder that we use to break up the whole kernel into a particle size that is more conducive to the analytical part of the InstaLab700. We've got a jar that we'll put the sample in. In fact, we'll use this to measure out a predetermined measurement from the grain into this. Consistency is very important in sample preparation, so we'll keep on that as much as we can to keep from any variability in our analysis. I will remove some corn from the bag. I will use this as a measure just so we can keep the consistency. I'll keep that leveled off. I'll reseal my sample and move it out of the way. Today we're going to prepare 2 samples from the same root resource, and then we'll run both of those samples into the InstaLab so we can remove any variability in sample packing that will go toward our regression data collection. I will insert this into the blender. You can use any blender, and there are more expensive grinders that can be purchased. This one has a predetermined setting, and I will just choose that, and I'll put it on that. Happens to come up at 32. This is a pre-programmed profile for this particular GE blender. Most of the blenders that we see on the market today have some predetermined program that goes through a program into the sample grinder. So let me grind that. Okay, now that we've ground our sample in the blender, I will pour it in this glass jar. We'll use that for archiving if we want to keep that and broke it up really nice. We want that to be homogeneous. Doesn't take much sample to prepare a sample cup, so I'm not concerned about getting every bit of out of the blender. Just enough to prepare 2 sample cups and keep some for the laboratory analysis. Okay, there's probably quicker ways to do that, but I'm trying to stay out of the way of the camera. We'll keep that sealed as much as possible. You can see it's broken up really well. There's a few kernels in there, but they will be represented when the sample cup turns in the Instalab. Let me move these devices off so you can see them better. This is primary, the one I use. Make sure it's clean so it doesn't skew the readings. The two-piece sample cup. This is, I won't touch it, but this is a foam piece that presses against the glass to make sure the sample has no holes in it that would be misrepresented under an analysis. Take the sample cup top, which is actually the cup itself, put it on the 3 tabs, turn it clockwise to lock it on. We'll open our sample jar back up, stir it up a little bit, making sure we get everything mixed up really well, and then place the product on the cup, overflowing it, because we will tamp that down so that we're sure that we don't have any holes that will not have product in them. Notice this is sample tray is beveled or chamfered so that you can get this in and don't have to hit the sides. So we will consistently tamp that both ways, forward, backward, and 90 degrees from that, forward and backward. Again, consistency is very important in your sample preparation. And we'll strike off the excess. Here's where the brush comes in to brush away anything that might be on the ledge of the sample cup. And taking the bottom, again inserting it on the 3 tabs, turning it clockwise, and then grabbing the sample cup top and turning it back counterclockwise and pulling it off the tabs. There is the prepared sample cup. I have pre-labeled or put a piece of tape on the bottom so that we can label that. It's important to keep them separate. This jar would normally be labeled. We'll label it C1. And then this one will be C1. Can't write very well. We'll give a different marker. C1. So we'll set that aside. We'll actually prepare another sample cup. Again, putting it on the 3 tabs, turning it clockwise. Same process. Stir it up. Place the product on the lens, sample cup top, making sure it floods over, sealing our jar back, tamping it, forward, backward, to the side, and back. Striking it off, making sure that we try to put the edge so it's perpendicular to the cup so we don't pack it down in or scoop it back out. Okay. Again, brushing it off. I usually brush it clockwise so that I don't screw it from the sample tray. Sample cup bottom. Clockwise. Grab the top. Counterclockwise. Pull it off. Label it C1A. And you can use any numbering or archiving system you would like. So that concludes the sample preparation.